Hey, it's Tuesday. It's Rockstar Rally, in case you guys didn't know, but you're here for it. Wall fans, if you're not selling wall fans and or Scentsy Go, you're crazy. You're crazy. Here's why. Number one, they're a fabulous product. Like, they're totally amazing. We love our warmers and wax, right? They're the best on the market. We know this. But someone can buy a Scentsy warmer and they can pick up knockoff wax at Walmart or Target, right? We know it's not the best. We know it's not great. We know it's going to stink. We know it smells like melted crayons, but they can do it, right? And they can just throw one into their cart when they're checking out. They can throw one in with their, it's on an end cap somewhere. They're $2. They're going to throw them in their cart and try it out. Wall fan and Scentsy Go, no one makes knockoff pods. Nobody makes pods except Scentsy. So if you're selling a Scentsy Go and a wall fan, people can't even buy the cheap stuff to put in it. They have to get pods from you. So here's what happened. I would sell a wall fan and a 6-pack of pods. That's $75 right there. $75 for a wall fan and 6-pack pods. And then what I would do is encourage them to also get a Scentsy Go, because I'm like, you can use these pods in your Scentsy Go. The more items that you have using those products, the quicker they're going to run through them, which means the quicker they're going to need more pods. And a 6-pack of pods is $50 versus a 6-pack of wax, which is $30. See how that's better for you in the long run? More PRV, more commission. They can't get the product anywhere else. So if you're doing a follow-up on an already amazing, really great product that's performing really well, that's $50, $50, $50, $50 over and over and over and over again. And here's what people loved about the wall fans, okay? I had so many people, and I know you guys hear it too. They talk about spilling their wax, their kid knocks it over, their dog got into it, they hit it and broke it, they knocked off the dish, right? So we know that we can overcome those things when we're talking about warmers and wax. We can overcome that objection all the time. Put it in a different place, like be a grown-up, like don't put a plug-in down low, right? We can help them overcome those things, but the easiest way for them to overcome it is to get a stinking wall fan, because it's virtually indestructible. It's plastic. The kids can't get into it. The kids can knock it over and it's no big deal. There's no wax to dip fingers in. Nothing will ever spill on your wall. You never have to clean up a mess. You can leave it on all the time. You don't have to worry about changing a bulb, right? Ding, 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 ding. It's like positive, 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 positive. There's no negatives to the wall fan. None. And then people would ask me how much it is. I'd be like, $25. They're like, that's it? They loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. They also, and this is something that I don't ever do. So something that I recommend you never do when you're marketing is kind of talking about a competitor's product in a negative light. For example, I would never say like, oh, well, Yankee puts chemicals in their way. I would never say anything like that, right? That's never a good marketing strategy. Tearing down another company is never a good marketing strategy for you, or tearing down another consultant or another person or even another product. That's never a good marketing strategy. The best marketing strategies are just to talk about all of the pros and the benefits and how your product is the best on the market and why someone wants it, right? So, yes, exactly, AJ. She said it. It's just like terrible politics when they, instead of like tearing someone else down, they don't even talk about their own stuff. It's the same thing with your marketing plan with your business. So I talked about all the pros with the wall fans. And then when I told them they were $25, they were like, oh my God, this is awesome. And I can't even tell you how many customers were like, oh my gosh, I used to be crazy about Bath & Body Works wallflowers. And I've heard so many bad things about them. I've heard they started fires. I heard they're full of chemicals. I heard they were really bad. Like, they would say all these things. And then they were like, I want to move from wallflowers to these fans. They made that connection. So even if you have customers who are like wallflower people, or if you were formerly a wallflower person from Bath & Body Works, like, this is a great segue over into the wall fan. So totally sell wall fans, and then Scentsy goes like crazy because they have to get pods from you, and pods are a nice high PRV item too. Okay. Also, they just happen to be freaking awesome, and they last long, and the scent throw is so good from a wall fan. I was really surprised at how well they work. Okay. If you don't know what scent throw is, that basically means like how far and how full the scent goes from the warmer, the diffuser, the wall fan, the Scentsy Go, whatever. The scent throw is literally, I just like visually like this. Here's a warmer, this is the throw. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about scent throw. So I went through my biggest scents. Every wall fan I had was gone. Fragrance flowers were a huge hit. So what I did is I bought a cake stand from Home Goods. I think it was like $15, and I opened one fragrance flower in every scent, right? So I had the cake stand, and I had all 4 like this. Then I made like a little sign that just says new fragrance flower, $16, 60 days of fragrance available in these 4 scents, 4 fragrances. And I listed the 4 fragrances. So every person that came up and was like, what is this? Or this is pretty, or I've seen it, I'd have them pick it up and smell it. And I'd be like, smell all of them and let me know which one you like. So they'd pick up all 4. So this is really important. You want them to pick it up and hold it rather than you, them to pick it up and hold it, because then they're in charge and they're the one taking the action rather than you shoving it in their face. When they hold it, there's a few things that happens. Like they feel like they're in control, but also they actually feel a little bit more obligated to purchase or invested at that point because they're the ones taking the action of like holding it in their hands. So that I tell them, pick it up and smell it. And they'd smell all 4 and be like, ooh, I really like this one. So I'd smell it and say, oh, that's aloe water and cucumber. You want one? Just like that. And they'd be like, sure. And I'd be like, do you want to get one for a gift too? Right? So fragrance flowers were a huge hit. Wall fans, classic Scentsy fragrances for Christmas time. Let's see. The letters to Santa warmer was huge. The Believe in Whatever mailbox. I'm trying to think about other bestsellers. Oh, I did sell a good amount of diffusers and oils, of course. So hopefully that at least gives you, and the Disney Mickey and Minnie warmers and Tinkerbell warmer. Those were really big for my events too. Scent packs. Just trying to think of things to give you for like events coming up. So anyway, those were big hits. Hopefully that helps you. Okay, so tonight I want to talk about simplicity. Simplicity is one of our core values at Scentsy. So in case you don't know what our core values are, they are these 3 things: simplicity, authenticity, and generosity. Those 3 things are the core values of Scentsy, and those ideally should be the 3 things that you run every single thing in your business through. I call them like the filter. They're the filter through which I run every decision, every choice, every action I take in my business. I want to run them through that filter. Is this simple? Is it authentic? Is it generous? So I want to talk about the other 2 on another night, but tonight I want to tackle simplicity. And I got to be honest with you. When I first joined Scentsy, I totally got generosity. I totally got it. I totally got authenticity, and I understood like you could be you and I could be me, and we could both build successful businesses. They didn't have to look alike. We don't have to sound alike, be from the same place. We don't have to talk like each other, any of these things. So I totally got that, but I really didn't get simplicity. I didn't get it for a long time. And I'm like, why in the heck would you waste a core value on simplicity? It never clicked for me, and I never understood why it was so important for Scentsy. Probably until about 5 or 6 years into my business, and then all of the pieces started to come together. And I'm going to be super honest with you and tell you that I feel like I had no idea what I was doing for like the first 5 solid years of my business. And then maybe about 5 years in, I was like, okay, maybe I know a little bit about what I'm doing. And then when I promoted to superstar director 6 years in, I was like, okay, I kind of feel like I know what I'm doing now, but I still have so much to learn and so much room to grow and so many things to change and try. And I'll tell you the simplicity piece. My business now as a superstar director with almost 2,000 people in my downline is more simple now than it has ever been and more successful than it has ever been. Simplicity is absolutely key to finding success in your business, but simplicity is key to duplication. What duplication is when you can help people build businesses and help them be successful. Duplication is creating more use, creating more leaders underneath you, creating more consultants who have drive, consultants who are interested, helping other people find success in their own right. The simplicity is the key to building a team, to building a solid business, to finding people who want to stay in Scentsy, to getting promoted and then staying promoted and then staying paid at title and then getting paid at title consistently, ultimately reaching superstar director and circle of excellence. The idea behind simplicity, I gotta say, if your business is complicated, no one's gonna want to do what you do. No one. And when I say complicated, I mean, are you working your business 8 to 10 hours a day? Are you constantly on Facebook answering every question as soon as they come in from both customers and or teammates? Are you always available 24/7? Is Scentsy the only thing that's ever on your brain and you never have anything else going on? What about your systems? Do they drive you bananas? Are they so complicated that you avoid doing them? Are they so complicated that you're like, oh, I got to do my thank you mail? It's like that thing, that nagging thing that you never actually do because it's too complicated and too hard. I made things way more complicated than they had to be for so long in my business. And it's like a light bulb went off one day. It's like something clicked at some point and I decided, all right, let's simplify what I'm doing here, because here's what would happen. I would have this, all these things to do. And when my to-do list gets that big, I don't know about you, but here's what I do. I'm like, and you know what? I end up doing nothing. I end up doing not a dang thing on my to-do list. When it's too overwhelming or too big or too much, and I'm not the kind of person who's like, okay, well, I can take my time and check this off like over the course of 3 months. I just look at the list and I say, that's too big, that's too much, I'll never accomplish it, forget it. And I do nothing, right? So if your business is so complicated, or the tasks that you're assigning yourself are so complicated that you end up just like curling up into a ball and rocking in a corner, like that's not going to serve you well in your own personal business, but it's definitely not going to inspire people to join you. It's not going to inspire anyone on your team to do what you do either. If you have a team or you are a leader, remember this. Keep this in the front of your mind. Make them want your job. If you have a team, this is how you should lead your team. Make them want your job. If your team looks at you and they're like, oh my gosh, she never rests. She never sleeps. All she does is live, eat, breathe Scentsy. I promise you they're not going to want your job, because there's no quality of life there. And Scentsy might be super fun for you and it might be everything that you enjoy. But if they look at you and all they see is Scentsy, they don't see you like enjoying your life in any other way, they're not going to want your job. Make them want your job. If you are trying to build a team, keep that in the forefront of your mind as you build a team and as you grow. Even if you have one team member, the idea of making them want your job is so super important. And that's how you want to lead in your business from day one. So if you have a complicated business, if your to-do list is complicated, if you have a lot of things to check off, here's where we need to start. We need to start by simplifying your systems and evaluating everything you do for your business. And here's what you're going to ask yourself. Is this income producing? That's the number one question you're going to ask yourself. Does this action that I'm taking, does this thing on my list, does this directly produce income? If the answer is no, here's what you're going to do. Cross it right out. And you're not going to do that thing. If in your business it doesn't make you money, you don't do it. It's very simple. Now listen, here's the hard part. We live in a day and age, especially in social media. And I'll tell you, do you know I'm celebrating my 9-year Scentiversary this month? 9 years with Scentsy. It's like the longest I've ever done anything except be married, which is so crazy. In my 9 years, when I first started, do you know, we didn't have like Facebook pages. There weren't groups. There weren't groups about whiff boxes and samples and social media and parties and whatever else. Shirts that you can buy, right? There were no groups about any of these things. There wasn't even like a Scentsy group with Facebook to home office. There was no like official director group, superstar director group. Like, you know how you guys have Radiant Rock Stars and Wickless Luster and Essential Gypsies and all these other fabulous groups? There were none of that. So in this day and age, when we run our businesses largely on social media and social media is a way that we connect, here's the danger. The danger is we see what other people do or how someone else is finding success, and we start to add those things to our list and say, well, that's working for Susie over there, so I should probably do what Susie is doing, and I'm going to add this to my list. You start to compare yourself to Susie or compare your journey to Susie, and you start to say, I got to do what she's doing if I want to find the success that she's finding. But here's the struggle. If that action is not authentically you, if it's not generous and it doesn't produce you income or it doesn't bring you joy or it's not the way you want to run your business or you want to operate, all you're doing is adding meaningless tasks to distract you and divide your time. Time is your most valuable resource, and it's the only thing that you really have. And so you must spend it wisely if you're going to spend it on your business. You should not be working 8 hours a day on your business. You shouldn't, because that's not how this business is designed. Now, I am going to tell you, you cannot build a successful business working 15 minutes a day. And if someone tells you that, that's a joke. Don't listen to them. Okay? You cannot build a big successful business in 15 minutes a day. Can you sell Scentsy in 15 minutes a day? Sure. Sure you can. Can you build a business, build a team, make big income, get promoted, earn trips? No, you're not going to earn a trip by working 15 minutes a day on your business, okay? So you do have to put in some time, but you can build a really great business putting in 60 to 90 minutes a day if your 60 to 90 minutes is heavily focused and you're not distracted during that time and you're working on income producing activities only. Here's what income producing activities are. In case you don't know, very simple. Selling Scentsy. That's number one. That's the easiest way to earn income. Sell Scentsy. Okay. You can do that through events, Facebook parties, home parties, basket parties, fundraisers. I don't care. Sell Scentsy. Recruit. That's an income producing activity. Follow up. Income producing activity. Directly produces income. Sponsoring your team members. And when I say sponsoring, I mean once they're recruited, sponsoring them, helping them achieve sensational start, shooting star, get their launch party in, show them where to find things in the training center, teach them how to train themselves. That's an income producing activity. And booking. It's literally those 5 things, because you can't earn PRV without bookings typically, whether that's an event, a home party, basket party, like I said, I don't care, Facebook party, whatever. Booking, selling, recruiting, sponsoring, and follow-up. That's it. If you have 60 minutes a day to work your business, that's what you do during that 60 minutes, and that's it. You don't make samples. You don't send out thank you mail. You don't design a business card. You don't worry about how cute your label is or isn't. You don't worry about how cute or not cute your packages are when they go out to your customers. If you have 60 minutes a day to work your business, that's what you do, those 5 things and nothing else. If it's not those 5 things, if it's not income producing, you don't do it, you cut it out. Now, when you work a business simply, that is so attractive to potential teammates, to teammates you already have, right? When you work a business in that simple, effective, concentrated, focused, driven way, and you can get a lot accomplished in 60 minutes, and then you still have a lot of great time in your life for other things, like Disney Plus came out today, so maybe you want to watch The Little Mermaid, okay? Maybe you want to go to the gym. Maybe you want to go shopping, out with your girlfriends, dinner, whatever it is you want to do, you still have time to enjoy your life because your Scentsy business isn't completely all consuming you. Now, if you're not focused, if you're not driven, and if you're filling your time with things like making all these cute, ornate samples, decorating your packages, spending hours and hours on an email campaign, right? Whatever it may be. If you're spending your time doing those kind of things and not doing the 5 main income producing things, you're going to spend hours and hours a day in your business and probably not accomplish very much because you're not focused or driven or intentional with your time. Simplicity is key to a long-standing business. It's key to duplication. It's key to making people want your job. And that's both teammates and potential recruits. The more simple your business, the more successful your business will be in the long run. Also, the more sustainable it is as you grow. Because if it's complicated now, let's say you have 1 or 2 team members, or you have 5 or 10 or even 50, and it's complicated now. When you have a complicated business, when it's small, the complication just grows as your team grows. So what happens when you have a team of 100 or 200 or 500? That's like an out of control situation. It's not sustainable. Simplify your business in the very beginning. And if even maybe you're at a team of 50 or 200 right now and you're like, I'm not simple. Today is the day that you start. Today is the day you start to simplify your processes, because tomorrow you might be 201. You might be 202. Okay. Andrea wrote, samples are a time suck. Yes, samples are a time suck. They are. They're a huge time suck. If you want to make these cute samples that are wax shapes and all this kind of whatever, I mean, look, more power to you, but I'm just telling you, it's not income producing. The only thing that's income producing is doing follow-up if you gave someone a sample. Making the samples is not an income producing thing. So that's why if you're going to make a sample, just cut a chunk of wax and put it in a bag and give it to someone. Don't melt it and pour it into molds and freeze it. Don't do any of those things. You know what else is a great way to get samples? Just buy them already made from Scentsy. Buy the laundry liquid, the body samples, the washer webs. Get those already made samples from Scentsy and hand them out. Because the income producing part with samples is the follow-up. If you are giving out samples and not doing any follow-up, it's literally throwing money away. Throwing money away. Okay, you've got to follow up on the samples. If you use the Amy app, which I highly recommend, and I'm going to show you right now, do not judge me. I'm one of those people that allows red dots all over her home screen on her phone. If you are one of those people, if you are not one of those people, like you like no red dots, you should divert your eyes right now. So I'm going to tell you because there's lots of red dots. But this is Amy, the Amy app. Do you see 118? I'm going to show you all the other red dots. Don't freak out. Oh my gosh. Look at my email. I don't even know. 1,000 something. It's crazy. So Amy, the Amy app, it's this little pineapple right there. It's AMI. The Amy app syncs with your workstation. It used to be called Maven. The Amy app syncs with your workstation, and it literally tells you, hey, so-and-so got their order in 2 days ago. You got to follow up with them today. It sends you notification. Like it's awesome. Okay. Highly recommend Amy. But if you give someone a sample, you can record it in Amy and Amy will remind you to follow up with the person. Samples are so great for your business, but only if you do the follow-up and only if you're not spending the time making them. Okay. Buy the samples already made, or if you have kids in your house, make your kids make the samples. Like, make that not your job, okay? Trust Jennifer, I promise you. Yeah, absolutely. So listen, simplify your processes now in your business. Ask yourself, is this producing income? Okay. If it's not income producing, you're going to literally draw a line right through it. So I would say over the next week, if you're struggling with simplicity, or you feel overwhelmed, or you feel complicated, or you're like, you know what, I am working 2 and 3 hours a day on my business sometimes, or maybe 4 and 5 and 6, or maybe you work all day at your job and then you come home and you put your kids to bed, and then you're up until midnight doing Scentsy. Let me help you. Okay. Over the next week, you need to write down every single action you take for your business. I mean, every single action. Okay. If you make a post on Facebook, if you design a business card, if you like work on a label, if you're putting stickers on envelopes, if you're labeling your catalogs, making samples, anything you do. If you're watching a training, if you're getting onto Rockstar Rally, if you're going into the training center, every single thing you do for your business, you're going to make a list of every single thing you do for like a week. Okay. After the week, you're going to go back, and the first question you're going to ask, you're going to look at every single action. You're going to say, does this produce income? And basically, does it fall into one of the 5 categories that I gave you earlier? Sell, Scentsy, recruit, sponsor, follow-up, and book. If it's not in one of those 5 categories, then it's not an income producing activity. An IPA is what we call it. It's not an IPA, which means it should be definitely not in your priority list. Now, are there things that I do in my business that are not income producing? At this point, yes, but only if all of my income producing activities are already done first, and then I have time to do those things. If and only if. Okay? So you're going to ask yourself that. Does this produce income? Is this an income producing idea? The second question you're going to ask is, can I teach this to my team? That's really super duper important. If it's not simple and you can't teach it to your team, you shouldn't do it. Because nothing you do in your business should be so specific to you that you can't teach someone else to do it, because then you've created a non-duplicatable business. You've just created something that no one else can do but you. And that's not what you want. That's not how you build a team. That's not how you get to director. That's not how you get to superstar director, life-changing income. Okay. That's not how you do any of the things that you really want to do in this business. Does this produce income? Can I teach this to my team? Those 2 questions are what you're going to do after you write down every single task. Amanda says meat and potatoes first, which are IPAs, dessert and fluff later. Yep. Do all your IPAs first. Then if you have leftover time and it's something you want to do or it brings you joy, sure, go ahead and do the dessert, do the fluff, whatever, okay? But meat and potatoes first. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Anyone have any examples on how maybe you've fallen into like a complicated trap in your business, or hey, I'm struggling with this, how can I simplify this? Anyone want to share? Everyone is perfectly running a simple business?
Hey, Jen.
Hi. Hi, Amanda.
Hi. Okay, this isn't, well, it was a struggle, but I found a solution. I commented a minute ago, but just in case no one saw it, because this really has helped me. With using Amy, I, just like I record samples and do my follow-up, I also record my bag party hostesses in there, and I remind myself to hostess coach them, like, how's the bag going? Here, use this text message if you're having trouble. So it constantly keeps me on my game, knowing what's going on with my hostesses. Because I used to just give them the bag and then talk to them a week later, and because I was so busy.
That is so genius. And hostess coaching is an income producing activity, by the way. So it's kind of twofold. It falls under selling Scentsy, you know, and or booking. It can fall under either one of those categories. Hostess coaching is a major income producing activity. If you're doing parties and not coaching your hosts, you might be having a lot of flops, or you might be having parties that are just kind of barely making the 200 PRV minimum, and they could be $500, $600, $700, $800 parties if you did hostess coaching. If you don't know what hostess coaching is or how to do that, go into the training center in your workstation and go under hostess coaching. There's a ton of resources for you to be able to train yourself and become an excellent hostess coach. Great, great tip, Amanda. I love it. This is the fabulous Amanda Aiden, who is on her way to Star Director, you guys. So excited.
Crossing my fingers. Thank you.
I'm cheering for you, babe.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to share anything about simplifying or being complicated? Or is this a struggle for you? Is this not? This is an interactive part of Rockstar Rally. I'm not afraid of awkward silences. I just need one more person to share. Just one.
Okay, I was waiting for my kid to quit screaming her head off, so sorry.
Hi, Andrew. This is the fabulous Andrew Keith, on her way to Star Director. Oh my gosh.
Let's see, what haven't I overcomplicated? Everything. So if you can't do it, oh, this is Layla. She's making my wet boxes, by the way, because I'm not going to be OCD about that anymore. So pretty much if you can't do it today with 5 people, how are you going to do it with 50 people? How are you going to do it with 200 people? And I'm in that boat right now. When I promoted to director with 19 people, I worked their businesses and mine, and that does not work. So today with 200 people and like 70 frontline alone, I ain't got time to talk to 70 people a day. I ain't got time to work 70 people's businesses. So I have had to learn to let go of things I can't control.
Huge.
Like letting my children label products. Like who cares if the label's crooked? It helps me. She is 4 years old and can label this entire party. And my customers love that. Like if they get a goofy label, that gives them they think it's adorable. And I had to teach my team how to find the answer themselves. So instead of giving them the answer, even though it was easier for me to be like, yes, it's this, I have to tell them where to find it. Because how are they going to find it tomorrow and the next day and the next day? And what are they going to do when I go on an incentive trip and I'm not here for a week? They need to know how to work their own businesses. So it's nicely training your team to do what you do. And if you are doing stuff that's not simple, then you can't teach that. So it's dumbing everything down into simple systems. Like, oh my goodness. Here we go. This is what I do for an entire week. That's it. That is an entire week of work. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 simple tasks a day. And then that's it.
What are your 5 simple tasks a day?
What day?
So you have different days, like a focus on Monday, a focus on Tuesday, right?
Yep. So Monday is
Tuesday. What's your focus today?
Today, I did 2 training calls, a Facebook Live training, and this is week 1, so that's not what I did. And send out will cancel emails and a frontline goal email. So that was my first week of the month for my team. Tuesday's team day.
So you had like a team focus day, and you did that. So that you guys falls under sponsoring, right? All those 5 things that are income producing, that falls under the sponsoring leg of that.
And then like Wednesday, I have 3 things. I do some kind of shout out on my page, 1 simple shout out. So like the first week of the month, shout out anyone that's active. Second week, anyone over 500. Simple. Mm-hmm. And then I share my story. So I share something on Facebook regarding the opportunity, not a flyer saying it's $99 to join, you should join, but I share something about my journey. Mm-hmm. And then there will be something to do with like recruiting that day. So the first week of the month was updating my list of 100, and it just kind of varies by week. But I mean, that's 3 to 5 tasks, and that's it.
Okay, awesome. I love it. Janelle said, I need to figure out how to manage my team now. I'm a little team and I answer immediately. So now they expect it. I'll tell you a rule I have, Janelle. I have what's called a 24-hour rule. Okay. Because here's the thing, whether you have a team of 2 or 200 or 2,000, there's only one you, just one. You have your own business to run. Okay, on top of having a team, you have your own business to run, and in order to be able to help your team, you still have to meet your own numbers and run your own business and book and host, coach, and all those things. So that really does have to come first, and you have to accomplish those tasks before you do team tasks. But I have a 24-hour rule. Typically, when someone asks me a question, I don't even open a message for 24 hours, okay? Now, if it's a new consultant who's within their first 70 days, I might be a little bit more hands-on or get back to them a little bit sooner. But after 70 days, I pretty much have a 24-hour rule. I don't open the message for 24 hours because likely, here's what usually happens. Someone will send me a message asking me a question, and within that 24-hour time period, they've done the work and found the answer themselves, which is what ultimately you want people to do, right? You want to teach your consultants to be able to find the answers themselves. Because if you are just spouting out information to your consultants, to your team, what you're doing is creating dependent consultants. That means people who are dependent upon you to be successful. What you want to do is help create independent consultants who don't need you to be successful, okay? You want to help people be successful in their own right so they can go on and they can fly and they can leave the nest and they can be amazing on their own. So I like to have a 24-hour rule. Typically, I think that's totally acceptable and kind, and there's nothing wrong with it. And you can just implement it now. You can just start, and you don't need, that's not even something you have to vocalize or verbalize to them and say, hey, I'm going to wait 24 hours until I read your message. But that can be sort of like an internal rule that you have. Okay. And when you start doing that, when you have a team of 1 or 2, that will help when you have a team of 20 or 200 or 2,000, because that sort of plan will already be established for you. And that's a way that you can scale your business and still keep it manageable for you. And so you're not going crazy. Okay. So that's just my own personal rule. You can create the rule that works for you. But for me, it's a 24-hour rule. And I also do have an internal rule that I never really just give someone an answer. I always tell them where they can find it. Because if they have a question and I know the answer, the only reason I know the answer is because I went and found the information at some point and learned it and taught myself. Okay. Not because I asked someone and they told me the answer. It's because I went and taught myself that information. So if I can go and find it, that means so can they. Does that make sense? And so what you're doing by showing them where to find it is teaching them how to fish rather than just giving them a fish. Okay? And there's nothing mean about that. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's good, and it's desiring the greatest good for those consultants because you want to help them go build successful businesses on their own, because you can't build their business for them anyway. Hope that helps. All right, I'm gonna look in chat real quick. I didn't really get to keep up with this. I'm sorry over here. Okay. Courtney says she makes felt samples when she changes out her wax. That's a good idea. When you're changing your own wax, just dip a couple felt samples in the new wax. That's genius. Hannah says, I'm sending out so many samples every month and following up, but no purchases simply off of those. Do you have any recommendations on how long to send them to people? Like some I have sent for a year and they haven't ever purchased. I'm making way too many to be selling nothing to them. Yes, I totally agree, Hannah. I actually pretty much only give samples to my customers. I really don't give samples to people who don't purchase. If someone has never purchased from me, like I may send them a felt sample once, but that's it. I won't keep sending them samples again and again and again. And I think I saw someone mentioned earlier that they send samples like for 3 months. So for example, you have a customer, Julie, who orders in May. You will send Julie a sample in May, in June, and July. If she wants a sample in August, she has to order again. I know that if you go on my YouTube channel and watch the Rockstar Rally that had Jennifer Tovar on it, I think the title is like how to use your scent of the month kit or something like that. She talks about that and creating a system on when to send out samples and when to stop and when to keep them going. And so she has them kind of like on a 3-month list. So every time someone orders, they're going to get 3 months of samples. And that's basically the scent of the month. They're going to get in an envelope, a felt sample, in a regular envelope with a regular stamp for 3 months. Hannah says, how do you break the news that they won't be getting samples again? Do you make a post to your group about how your 3-month system works or individually tell them all? I'm sending out 40 to 45 a month and getting a purchase from one of them, and she buys monthly. I would say if they're not buying from you already, I mean, what's it going to hurt if you tell them they're not going to get samples anymore? It's not like they're not going to order. They're already not ordering. You know what I mean? So I would and I wouldn't even make a post. I would just not send them. You know, I wouldn't make a post and be like, hey, you guys suck, so you're not getting samples anymore. I would just not send them samples anymore, I think, probably. Anyone else have any input on that or something you do with samples to customers? Anyone have a great way to send samples and get orders from them? Ding, 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 ding. Okay, go watch the Rockstar Rally with Jennifer Tovar. That will be really good on how to use the Scent of the Month kit. And yes, Sydney wrote the Scentsy Success store, or wait, whatever it's called now, Scentsy Success, I think, has these postcards that say, sorry to see you go. And it basically says that already, like you haven't ordered for 3 months, so if you want a new sample again, you have to order again. It kind of says it on the postcard already, so you can get those postcards too from Scentsy Success. Okay, so if you haven't seen the workstation updates, the workstation has been updated again with, like, it's all new fonts, new news tabs. The performance tabs have been a little bit wonky in case you've been trying to run reports for your team or anything like that. That should be fixed, and or if not, it is being fixed soon. Tomorrow is Snow Globe Day. Isn't that warmer? So cool, you guys. I think it's awesome. Okay, oh, someone asked what happened to business references on the workstation. There is a whole new part of the workstation called Scentsy Success, and it kind of incorporates like Training Center, and this is Scentsy Success Store and business references, like all put together. The reason that that's all been updated is because the search function on our workstation wasn't really reliable. Like some things would be in Training Center and some things would be in business, and things were all over the place. So it's kind of been put into one place. So I recommend you go into the workstation, go into the Scentsy Success and do some exploring, look at it, learn about it, search for different things so that also you are knowledgeable enough to be able to teach your team about it too. There is a news tab release about all of the updates as well. So you can go read that news tab release. Yeah. Okay. I hope that this was helpful for you guys, and I hope that you can really simplify your business so that you can scale it and grow it big and build awesome teams and get paid at title and reach superstar director. So keep it simple from the very beginning. Work with what you got, you guys. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't feel like you have to be doing what everyone else does, because I promise you, you don't. You got to do what you got to do in the 5 categories: income producing, keep it simple, work with what you got, don't overload yourself, use your starter kit. You don't freaking need anything other than your starter kit, okay? I promise you can build a really great business in an hour a day with just your starter kit, and your brain and some hard work, you can do really, really amazing things. So I love you guys. Oh, who wants a free prize? Somebody gets a free prize. By the way, I do these weekly things and then I send out like 4 prizes at one time. So if you're waiting a month for your prize, I'm sorry. I love you. I mean it, but it will come, but maybe in a month. We'll see how it goes. Hey, honey.
Yeah.
Can you pick a number between? Okay, good. Good. He finally picked something in the middle. He always picks like 1 or the very end. Hold, please. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Sherry Hatcher is the winner tonight. Sherry Hatcher. Cool. All right, guys. I love you. I'm proud of you. You guys are crushing November. These numbers are insane, by the way. Like what's happening is crazy. So who has snow globes going in tomorrow? Anybody? Yeah. I got a couple of crazy customers, you know, those Scentsy crazies. I'm fine with them. I'll take their money. I love it. I think I'm going to get myself a snow globe too because it's so pretty and sparkly. Okay. Love you. Good night. Happy November. Bye.